Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Make Our World Your Runway. As you know, this is the weekly show that features the most fascinating individuals from the world of pageantry, modeling, fashion, business, beauty, and even the entertainment industry. And today we have an amazing guest that really needs no introduction, and we're going to bring him on very shortly. But as always, I like to make a few announcements. Now, I want to tell everyone, remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can view all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and Success Stories. And I highly recommend you tuning into Success Stories produced by the Global Trade Chamber. They're highlighting stories from some of the most amazing women in the world of business and community service. And also, Volume 2 of the 100 Most Successful Women in Business is now available on Amazon. Again, I highly recommend getting your copy today. This best-selling book highlights some of the most amazing accomplishments of women in business and community service from around the world. And if you are a successful woman, you will want to order your copy today and also consider being in Volume 3 that will be coming out very soon. And get ready for amazing expos and conferences with some of the most amazing, successful women entrepreneurs and business leaders. Register now for the Women Business Expo and conferences in Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Dallas, Texas. So for complete information on these conferences, be sure to visit their website at www.100swb for all the details. And America's #1 event for international trade companies, the Global Trade Chamber Convention and Conferences in Puerto Rico, October 25th to the 29th, 2023. You definitely need to get your tickets now. This is going to be a sellout. Puerto Rico is absolutely amazing. I've done many events there. It is fabulous. And also, we will keep you up to date on when the 100 Successful Women in Business will be doing their main conference and expo honoring women from around the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on to our show. It's lights, camera, action. It's Make Our World Your Runway. And as I said, my next guest absolutely needs no introduction. He is the president and founder of the Global Trade Chamber and the consummate and best networker in the industry today. So please help me welcome Mr. Otero to Make Our World Your Runway.
Good morning, Miss Angela. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself, Al? It's always a pleasure.
Great. Oh, we go way back, Angela, way back.
Yeah, I think it's what, 25, 30 years?
Yeah, probably. We don't want to count them.
We don't want to count them.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of changes everywhere.
That's right. We have seen a lot of changes. Should we tell everybody about Lucifer's or should we keep that under wraps?
No, that's another show.
That's definitely another, yeah, absolutely another show. But anyway, I do want to tell our listeners that in addition to you finding the Global Trade Chamber, you were one of the founders of Miss Latina International when I first started the pageant. And what were your words to me when I came to you with that idea? You said a pageant.
A pageant in Florida?
Exactly. But we figured it out that at that time, a lot of the Latin pageants didn't have a scholarship program. Okay.
Yep, it was a great opportunity to connect young ladies from the Latin community from all over the world in South America, Central America. It was a great opportunity to showcase them because a lot of them have become successful entrepreneurs in different industries, and your concept of helping them through a scholarship program was unique.
Yeah, it was unique.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it was very welcome. The community loved the concept. We had a lot of people involved, mayors, consul generals. It was just a beautiful way to showcase amazing young Hispanic women that we're going to change the world. And it started with just a dream, and now it's just everywhere.
Exactly. And not only that, from the Miss Latina International pageant, we grew into the Miss International World pageant. Yes. And what was great about it is because you had a lot of women from the Latin countries living here, thought they couldn't compete, but we told them as long as they had that Latin background, they could still represent the country of where their families came from, and at the same time be in the pageant. And what was good about it is because we called it Ms. Latina International, which allowed the Brazilians to come in
Oh,
because
sure.
they were Latin, not Hispanic, but they were Latin.
Right.
So they felt that they had a presence. And what was great is because Nova Southeastern University actually gave us $40,000 scholarship, which was $10,000 a year for 4 years for the Ms. and for the teen. So that was $80,000 that we were able
Amazing.
to present for education.
Yeah, huge, huge.
Yeah. And that was your idea. You were the one who came up with that. You said, go to the colleges. And, you know, back then, people were doing it. Not everybody was getting accepted. Okay.
No, because they didn't have the vision that you had of bringing the whole Latin community together into one beautiful big event to really celebrate Latin women in general.
Exactly. And if you remember the second year that we actually did the pageant in 2005, we had it at the Hard Rock. We had 1,000 people in that audience.
Yeah,
If
it was
you,
beautiful.
if you remember, we had Telemundo there. We had Azteca America. We had Maritza, who her husband was vice president of Univision, who did an interview with you. I remember that evening.
Yeah, that was unique. So that was the beginning, and now it's everywhere. And, now
Exactly.
you're on a cruise ship. Amazing. It's incredible.
Exactly. We've been on a cruise ship. We've got women like 100 Successful Women in Business in the Global Trade Chamber. We have women coming in from around the world.
Yes.
And I must say that the event in England, where you had 100 women that came in from around the world, and I had 3 women from there that came into the pageant in October.
Yeah, it's a lot of synergy because you are also obviously the director for our pageants at all of our women conventions. So we're so grateful that you are such an important part of this event because women love to see new fashion, especially from other countries. So that's a very nice part of the 100 Successful Women Convention every year. So
Exactly.
you're such an important part of that. And you know, Maria said when I said our founder for the 100 Successful Women, Maria Rene, when I told her that you wanted to be involved, she loved it because of the pageant, because of everything you've done with the pageant. So it's a great win-win relationship.
It is. And Maria is a great mentor because she knows how to bring women together. She was the one who said, you know, let's do it. You do have your own weekly show, which is getting a lot of traction, which is going, is being seen in other parts of the world. And a lot of women want to get on this show because now it's a voice for them to get their word out about all the successful things they're doing. And, you know, by doing this, I've been asked to be on Global Initiative. I've been asked to be involved with certain organizations that even prime ministers and people in that arena are involved with. And now I'm working with climate change. I'm working with poverty, especially children's poverty. There's a lot of that going around the world today. So, you know, and just the fact is, look at what's going on at the southern border right now. Okay.
It's a nightmare. And they don't care. They just make laws and change laws and a whim without thinking about the people involved. So it's a shame. But your organization makes a huge impact.
Exactly. And you've been involved with chambers since I remember you. I mean, you know, you with the Broward Chamber, you worked with Lauderhill, and then of course, starting the Global Trade Chamber, which has been a big success. Okay. Which you've got people from around the world that are involved.
We have a beautiful network. I actually was involved with chambers since I was in diapers. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you were. It's very true. From the time I've known you, you've been involved with chambers. And, you know, Al and I were talking about something this morning, my Al. And when we first came down here, and of course we met you, and Al was working with PricewaterhouseCoopers, which had a division here in South Florida, which he wound up getting that account. But you were also involved in that because you knew one of the guys that was working for PricewaterhouseCooper. And if you remember, we did the boat ride when Lawrence used to do the boat rides, and that particular person was on there. And that kind of made it a lot easier for my Al to go in there, and he got that account. So you've been,
relationships.
Yeah, you've been involved with some
Yeah.
big players.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been doing this for most of my adult life, because even before we met, I was involved in chambers, on boards, on a lot of different ways. So that's our life, is connecting people and empowering them, and then giving them access to new markets around the globe. That's what they need today.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they need.
That's exactly what they definitely need. And you have a saying, if you're not networking, you're not working.
That's a fact. Because even though we have the internet, I talked to somebody yesterday, a very important person in SCORE from the SBA,
Oh, they're great.
uh, and they're all over even Puerto Rico. So I talked to George. He got an award this year in Washington for their work here in South Florida, and he said, "This is a whole different world. Everything's changed, and no matter how much internet you have, you would never uh, be able to do business without that personal touch and that connection on a face-to-face. This is never going to change, and he's been doing this for all his life. So
That
we know that the internet, it helps, but the bottom line is when you meet somebody face to face and you build that personal relationship, that you're going to be able to do business. So that personal relationship is not going to go away. It's just not, which is good.
no, no, my Al said that this morning. He said,
Yeah,
Angela, he said, how did I build my business with cable and wireless? He said, I was in front of somebody's face all the time.
yeah,
He said, if you're homesick or like during the pandemic, he said, you have to use the internet to
yeah.
keep your business going or to keep that relationship going. That's fine. He said, but it's nothing like going to an event and
No,
meeting people face to face and getting in on a discussion. And prime example, a few weeks ago, Yvonne from Portada had an event.
yep.
Okay. And it was a Saturday night up my area, and Al and I went. One of the gentlemen that was in the audience said, I work for MCI. And I said, oh my God. I said, Al worked for MCI. The minute Al walked in the door, he knew who he was.
That's it.
They got on a rapport
Of
that was
course.
unbelievable. And then 2 days later, he went to the dealership and bought a car from Al because he
That's
knew Al from MCI. He
that's
knew
it.
had a relationship and he
Yeah,
knew how Al worked. So now they're doing business together. So
exactly.
if Al wasn't at that event, this would have never
No,
materialized.
no. Right
Okay.
now, everything is trust, because you can't trust anybody. There's so
No.
much fraud and things going on the internet. You really have to back off, even on some of the social media sites. People
Oh,
that you
yeah.
think they're trying to scam you.
Oh,
The FBI is posting all the time. Be careful. They're cleaning out your bank accounts because you
oh,
think you know people.
we just had that happen. Al and I had to actually open up a new account because somebody did a test on our account that we didn't recognize, and I caught it. And it was coming from the insurance company that I was dealing with, an agent that got fired and was scamming, I forgot how many
No,
accounts,
wow,
looking for money. Okay.
that is incredible.
And then that event that Adrian had, that where she did that
Sure,
movie premiere, that
sure.
was all about the Picasso of Thieves. That showed all about how people with art actually scam millionaires, and the governments around the world can't even catch it.
They can't.
They can't.
I was doing some research a couple of weeks ago about the best places to invest on the internet, and many times it popped up that the best place to invest is in art. Now, who are you gonna believe?
Right.
Unbelievable. You get all this people saying the stock market, real estate, but now people were posting as one of the top three places to invest in art. And it's just obviously there's something fishy about that.
That is, and that's a movie that
Horrible.
I saw. Invest in art
Yeah,
is because that's how they're stealing money.
yeah, it's
So
horrible.
nothing is safe today. You got to
No,
check everything. I like what the Romans used to do. Goes back to the Roman Empire, and a lot of Italians do it. They used to take the money and stuff it under the mattress because they
they're
didn't
going back.
trust anybody. The
No, and the
Romans
banks
were
are going
great
out
for
of
that,
business. And some banks are closing, going out of business.
and
Who would
it's
have
their
thought?
own people taking the money. Okay.
It's a tough time.
Well, that's what you ought to do, Al, because you're so honest. Global Trade Chamber Bank.
Oh, let me write that down.
Yes, the Global
That would
Trade
be a
Chamber.
perfect thing to do. People don't know who
perfect
to
thing to
trust.
do. And not only that, you have the areas where you know the honest people where money could be invested.
Sure.
Why not open a global trade chamber bank and the money gets invested in the global trade chamber, 100 successful women in business, and everyone makes money.
I love it. Now
Yep.
you're talking. Now
Yeah,
you're
you'd be the
talking.
perfect person for that, because look at how many people you deal with around the world
Oh,
that trust you. And even when till this day, when I've been on events with you, and especially down in Miami, and they know you're going to be there, the Latin community, I don't know where they're coming from. They come out of the woodwork and they're coming up and hugging you and kissing you. Because if you remember the old days, we were out almost every night of the week, even on the weekends, networking, and everyone knew you. I mean, look at Ralph Puja. He had the organization he had, but he always came to you. Frank Nevis.
Yep.
Frank Nevis always came to you. Even crazy Pepe Lopez.
Oh, he was something else.
He was something else.
Around us. Yeah, he was always around. So all the leaders hang together because they could trust each other.
Right.
But then everybody went the wrong way and things changed, but we don't.
No, we don't. And like you always said, and it's funny because I heard someone say something the other day, which I was thinking about when I was sitting with O'Neill. That's who said, he said, you know, what you do today may not materialize, but down the road, that's where you're going to see it. He said, you might do something today that you say, it's not worth it. He says, but 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road. And you always said, stay the course. So look at some of the things that you've done and I've done and Maria is doing, and we are still here. All those people that we networked with, okay, are gone. There's only one person that I found, and you might remember him from the Aroni Palace, and he's still in the hospitality industry, is Fernando Harb. Okay. When he did that introduction for us that time at the Aroni Palace, we had Telemundo there. He's still in the hospitality industry, but everybody else that he worked with, you can't even find them.
Oh, you can't find them. Yeah. People change, things change, but you got to stick to what your heart says, you got to stick to it. And when Maria told me 5 years ago, she said, let's start a women organization. I said, are you out of your mind, start a women organization? What are you talking about? So now the 100 Successful Women Network is growing faster than the chambers. Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling, right? And Maria just came up with another idea, which is I didn't even think about. I mean, Maria started something, and she said a lot of people are copying her, okay, because they saw the vision she had. She realized that what I'm doing in the world of pageantry, a lot of people are starting to copy me. So now it's time to change, okay, and come up with something different. So she said, make your pageant a production. So I thought about it and I said, oh my God, with the dancers, the Copacabana girls, the bigger, and having the girls in the mix. And we thought about maybe doing that on a smaller scale in San Francisco, because we've done a lot of fashion shows and things like that. But sometimes the designers, they've got a budget for it. They don't have a budget. So now you make a production of something where everybody can relate to. Okay. And I'm actually trying that in Virginia. June the 24th, I teamed up with Platform Magazine. I've got 3 of my girls in a fashion show there, but we're going to be crowning a Miss International World United States, and they're making a whole show around it.
That's beautiful.
So now I've done something different. And believe it or not, one of the girls that we're looking at that we think would be great for this works in the White House.
Wow.
Now I've got an open door. So you see what Maria has told me, I've sat and I thought about it. And I said, you know what? You need a mentor like that. Somebody that's looking at something that says, hey, you've got a great product out there. But you know what? I think you need to spruce it up. I think you need to do something. Okay. So you always have to have people. And one thing I've always said is that, and I always do this in all my shows, I may be good at something, but I'm only as good as the people that surround me or that I work with, because you never do it alone. There's always someone out there that's going to, give, like you.
You need people in life every area of your life,
Right.
from personal to your business life. You need people that are going to lift you up, because you have no problem anywhere finding people that are always trying to bring you down.
Oh, on a daily basis. I get it.
From the news, starting in the news, listening to the White House, all these people are bringing everybody down. Nobody's lifting people up.
No.
Nobody's positive. Everybody's just whining and giving you bad news.
That's
So
it. Everybody, you know what? I hear a
you
lot
have
of complaints, but I don't hear any solutions to the problem.
no 100%.
Okay. And sometimes it
Oh.
takes outsiders to go and solve that problem.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's, you know, and one thing my Al always says, promise what you deliver and deliver what you promise. Okay. He said, if you feel you can do something, deliver it. If you don't think you can do it, just say, look, I'll give it my best shot, but I don't think this is something I can do.
That's it. You have
And
to be honest up front.
Right. And he was the one who
Good.
taught me. He said, remember, he said, always try when you're going to do something, try to find out all the parameters, what the law are. Don't go into anything with your eyes closed, because if you do, that's going to hurt you. Okay.
It's going to burn you.
Yeah, exactly. And he always says that. That's why when he can, he loves to come to the events. And he
loves it.
He loves it.
Yeah, he's a big supporter of everything we do.
Oh yeah, he's a big supporter. And last year when we were in Orlando, I was watching you work one side of the room. He was working the other side of the room.
Let's have a plan. We said, let's do a plan, and we did it. It's good.
Exactly, and it was great. But anyway, we've got a great event coming up, Puerto Rico.
Wow. You heard about it?
Who hasn't heard about Puerto Rico?
Yeah, this is a very, very exciting event. We're producing our annual Global Trade Convention.
Yes.
In Puerto Rico, which is a tropical paradise, but there's a tremendous amount of opportunities to do business in Puerto Rico because it's still part of the U.S.
Exactly.
And they love to help companies there. They have great tax incentives. So it's an ideal location, and best part is not far from us at all.
No.
So it's easy to access.
From where I am, I think the plane ride is about an hour and a half. That's it. Yep. Okay. Yep. Even when you go by ship, they're there in like less than a day or a day. Okay. But plane, about an hour and a half, you can go. Go. And what I love about Puerto Rico, they speak English, they speak Spanish, they speak a couple of different languages down there because a lot of French influence is down there. But it is a great place. I mean, anytime I've gone to Puerto Rico, I've had a great time. Cable and Wireless used to do a lot of business with Puerto Rico. Al and I were always there. Okay. Sure. And some of the hotels in Puerto Rico are flawless. Yeah, they're beautiful. And the thing is they really got hit very hard with that hurricane that time. And they need to rebuild. So they are doing a lot of incentives. Okay. Sure. Unfortunately, I think our government didn't do enough for Puerto Rico. Okay. And they should. And one of the things that they want to do, which I think is a smart move, Puerto Rico is a commonwealth of the United States, but they want to actually make it a state, because if they do that, then they're going to get a lot of benefits from our government. So with 50 states, we become 51. And what a lot of people don't know is that Puerto Rico is allowed to compete in Miss America. We know they're in Miss Universe, but they are allowed to compete in Miss America because it's a commonwealth of the United States.
I love it. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities for you. So this is a unique event that's strictly business. We're going to be there to connect companies with other companies from other countries in the U.S. So where else can you go and meet delegates, chamber representatives, government agencies, all coming together in one place to help people explore new markets and expand to those markets. So it's a fantastic opportunity. It's 4 days of activities.
Yes.
We're going to have conferences by experts. We're right now talking to the U.S. Department of Commerce to have somebody there speaking. We have an invitation out to the governor of Puerto Rico right now. So there's a lot of agencies that are willing to go there because it's part of the U.S.
Yes, so, part of the U.S.
So
And
it's
not only
fantastic.
that, I've gotten information, which now I'm going to follow up on, Miss Puerto Rico Universe, because Miss Puerto Rico Universe is a star in Puerto Rico. She's almost like being
Wow.
the president of the country. So they want to go. Mimi is working her tail off to go. Mimi from Peace on the
Beautiful.
Streets. In fact, we
Yeah.
mention Puerto Rico every Wednesday night on the radio station.
Oh, that's nice.
And
That's
she's
nice.
had people call in
Yeah.
Orlando, because a lot of people don't know that Orlando, there's a big Puerto Rican community out over
Oh,
there.
huge.
Okay,
Absolutely.
right outside of Disney World. And
Yeah.
they're starting to call in the station. So I sent her all the information. I said, just give it to them. Let them book now. I said, let them get those tickets. Let them book. I said, because I said, Mimi, that's a great opportunity for you. But the fact that you've got a radio station, you
Yeah.
are from Puerto Rico. And I wouldn't doubt Frank Nevis will probably show up.
Yeah, he'll show up. He
Yeah,
always shows up.
Yeah, he's there.
So you cannot miss this event if you're in business, if you own a company, if you're a manufacturer, if you're an importer or an exporter, if you provide services, Angela. There are so many services that
Yes.
import and export companies do. Trade finance.
Right.
You have people that have to do all the paperwork to import and export. You have shipping and logistics. So there's so many industries around the import and export that everybody needs to know exactly how they can help them, because they don't know. When
That's
you're trying
right.
to ship something from one country to another, there are so many steps. If you don't meet the people face to face, like at our event, to explain to them and guide them through the process. I spoke to somebody yesterday. It says, "Oh, I don't know if I can export. It's so complicated." I said, "Come to an event. You're going to learn
Right.
everything and meet all the key players." We're talking already
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
the other unique thing about this event, that is hosted by 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐸 Mendez, which is the largest private
Yes.
university in Puerto Rico that has students and alumni all over the world. This university is its third generation president. So this is an incredible multilingual, bilingual university. It has campuses in the US, but also in Puerto Rico. So they reach the whole world practically with
Yes,
their
they do.
online program.
Yeah. 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐸 Mendez is
Tremendous.
absolutely fantastic. And
Yes.
I have to bring this up. One of the conferences that the one that you just did in Miami, I got a great education there. My mother was in a car accident, minor car accident
Oh,
in a parking lot in Publix.
okay. Yeah.
Now, Al and I did not know that the law changed. It used to be years ago that was a no fault, not anymore.
No.
And when I went to that conference, the attorney that was there, and we did get an attorney in our area that handled, personal injury. But the girl and I might still turn it over to her, that was at your conference, she said, your first mistake, when the insurance company called the next day and wanted a deposition, you should have said, I'm getting an attorney. You will speak to my attorney. Just once you speak to the insurance company, they use that against you.
Oh, that's it. And you lose control.
And you lose control. And the woman
don't
that
wanna
hit
pay
my
you.
mother, okay, you ought to see the damage on her car. My car didn't have any damage. So it showed she was speeding, but she fabricated a witness.
Of course. Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. So going to your conferences and you hear these people talk, they are telling you things that you didn't know.
You
And
haven't thought about it.
yesterday, my Al and I got an education with our life insurance that we didn't know, with the amount of money we've been paying on a year, that we were able to take some of that money and direct it into certain things. So we just
Wow.
been paying, and the policy's been sitting there for so many years doing nothing. Now
They
we're
don't
going
want to tell you. They don't want to tell you.
that. And Al said to me, did you know this? I said, no. And that's always been one of his pet peeves. Unless you ask, nobody's going to tell you.
No.
So you've had insurance people at some of your conferences. And I said, you know what? I said, I blame myself. I should have gone in that conference because they would have told me what to do.
Exactly.
And I just also found out from one of the financial advisors that Al used to work with at the bank. He said, you guys need a broker. He said, Al, you're sitting on some money. He said, and you got it. He said, it should be in a brokerage account where now you're going to get 5% on the money, where no matter what the market does, you'll make money He said, instead of going up and down, he said, you're
Oh,
losing
yeah,
money.
absolutely.
So see, we didn't know.
That's the right advice, Angela. Everything's about getting the right advice from people you trust. And what our events do for 15 years that we've been doing this is bring experts and people we know that we can trust to give
Right.
other people advice. So I had a lady go to an event before COVID that she needed something manufactured. And she was talking to China, she was talking here. And then she met Atik from
Oh,
Bangladesh.
yeah.
So she got a contact from Atik for a manufacturing company in Bangladesh, and she contacted him, and they were able to manufacture the product at a reasonable price and good quality. But if she hadn't met somebody at my event, she'd still be shopping for somebody.
Well, that's
So
just
this
it.
stories come up all the time, all the time.
That's just it. And Atik now taught me how to write these visa letters and work with immigration differently because he works with it all the time. Now, if I didn't know you and I didn't come to the events, I would know Atik.
No,
Okay.
that's
And
right.
I always tell him, I said, Atik, you're a character, but he does deal with certain individuals. Now,
Absolutely.
he wants to put a girl in the pageant from Bangladesh. He's got a girl, but she needs a visa. So now we're going to make sure that Nasli gets the invoice from the ship to show that she's booked. And he said
That's
to me,
right.
okay, now you got to redo the visa letter. He said,
Yep.
but you also have to write to our embassy in Bangladesh. He said, because I can work two angles.
Yep.
Now, and that's another thing. Everybody always says to me, why are you down at that immigration office every other day next to the port? I said, why? Because they're changing the laws on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. A few years ago, I did a visa letter for someone there. We go again, fraud. They took that letter and instead of coming to the pageant, they went someplace else. And I had the FBI knocking at my door because my name is on that letter. So
Oh,
now what I do is when I do the letter, I pass it to the immigration department and they back it up with their stamp on it so that if a person does get the visa, they know now that they're coming to this event, okay, and they know where it's coming from.
yep.
And so,
Well, that's why we've been doing international trade for over 20 years. So we have people that we know and we trust, even at the government. We have people at the U.S. Department of Commerce. I mean, I ask him for advice
right,
on different things to do with getting people back and forth from different countries. So it's all who you trust. You're going to ask your cousin about getting a visa to come, and they do it all the time.
with that, right,
It's awful.
exactly.
They ask the wrong people for advice, and then they end up in horrible trouble. Those things
Yeah,
are
And I took
dangerous.
my out to the immigration office. I said, come with me. I said, I want to show you what I do. When I walked in, they said, uh-oh, guess who's here again? So the running joke down there is that they're either going to kick me out or build a statue to me. But you know what? When I got done there, Al turned around and said to me, oh, now I understand why you're down there all the time. He said,
That's
this
right.
is complicated. I said,
Right.
I am telling you, you can get out of the country, but if you don't have the proper documentation, you
And get
cannot
back
get
in.
back in.
It's
I said,
horrible.
and they're going to detain you. You may
Yeah.
even get deported where you can't enter the United
Oh,
States
it's a
for
mess.
5 years.
It's a nightmare.
It's
And they change every day. So
uh,
part of our event, obviously, is to have experts in all these areas because when you're doing international business, you often have to fly and go to different countries to meet the people before you finalize the agreement. That
right.
step alone is so complex that if you don't have the right advice, you could get stuck, like you say.
Exactly. Exactly. And I
And the
think
same thing with your products. The same thing with your products. They could
oh,
sit
yeah.
in a warehouse for a year. And what happened? Because you didn't get the right paperwork from the department that helps you get the right paperwork, whether it's food, electronics, all that paperwork is different. So you have to have
Exactly.
shipping and logistics company to help you with all the preparing the right paperwork.
And you know, I have to get him on the show. The state attorney from Palm Beach County, Dave Arenberg, who's always on national TV. And he brought something up to my attention. He said, Angela, you got directors in other countries? I said, yeah. He said, we better start talking about licensing. I said, why? He's because somewhere down the road, the IRS is going to knock on your door.
Oh,
He said,
yeah.
if you've got the right, he said, people are just paying to get on the ship and it's an entry fee, one thing. He said, but if you got directors, he said, this is licensing. He said, and that is another story. He said, you don't even want to get into the logistics of that. So now I'm learning how to do that. So it's a whole, and I'll tell you, Atik is very good with that because he deals with Dubai,
Yeah,
Bangladesh,
he deals with
and
all
he
that part of
brought
the
that to
world.
my
India,
attention.
everywhere. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He said, you got a license to deal with people overseas. That's not as yet. He said, you better start getting it. He said, because
That's right.
once you have that license, he said, if anybody comes to you, you're bringing money into the country legitimately. Because if you don't, he said, they're going to think you're sneaking people or sneaking money in. I said, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
It
So what are you
is.
going to do in Puerto Rico? We're going to have presenters. So we have conferences by experts. They're going to teach you. They're going to guide you. It's going to be interactive, which is great. We're going to have workshops where people get actually to talk about different scenarios. We're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony, which you're love those.
I
Which
love
we're
it.
going to have the VIPs coming up in the event. We're going to have the one-to-one matchmaking appointments, which is the best part because you get to sit face to face with somebody from any industry, from anywhere in the world that's interested in doing business with you. So we have the roundtable matchmaking session, which is the most important because that's how we open new markets for you and help you explore different ways that you can do business anywhere in the world. And then we have, ready? The award ceremony.
I love it.
And that's the best because we're recognizing industry leaders, companies, and organizations. The Port of Miami's been nominated to receive an award. We have Airport of Miami. We have a seaport, also nominated. We're nominating Best Economic Development Organization. And then we're nominating leaders in different industries, airspace, all these things. So it's great to work hard and do a good job, but nobody recognizes you. So we decided that we need to recognize leaders and people that are making a difference in the community. And
Yeah.
then there's a tour of
Oh,
the city, Old San Juan, which is the best part of the best.
I love Old San Juan. It's funny
Yeah,
because
I
one of the
love it.
crews, when I was on Holland America and we pulled in to Puerto Rico, we pulled into Old San Juan. Oh my God, I love it. I got more pictures
Nice.
and videos of Old San
Yeah,
Juan. It was
wonderful.
beautiful. The charm. And I'll tell you something, the food in Puerto Rico is excellent.
Delicious. I love it.
If you eat in some of those hotels, it's better than some of the 5-star hotels we
Oh
have.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is excellent.
This
And
is a unique event.
and what we could do for the show, which is something that I'm working on, being that I'm bringing back the iconic Copacabana. Copacabana, believe it or not, name there in Puerto Rico is very big
Oh, sure.
because south of the border. And something that you can use and I can use because I've given permission. I'm the only one that has permission to do this. Copacabana has bought the rights to Barry Manilow's song at the Copa.
Oh, yeah.
They've given me
Absolutely.
permission to use that song if I do something
Oh,
with
wow.
the Copacabana.
I love it.
So we actually can do that. Okay. I'm probably the only one in South Florida that can use that name. And they love it because every time I see people using the name that are not authorized or they're trying to do a Copacabana show, I call New York and say, did you approve this? Oh, no. Where is it at?
Oh, yeah.
In fact, somebody, New Year's Eve in West Palm, took the name Copacabana, put it in lights over the city.
Well, you told me.
They
Yeah, you
didn't
told me.
authorize. Well, we
They're
got
not-
that stopped in
Well,
a day.
that's registered. That's a registered name.
That's a registered name, but I had
Yeah.
permission to use it.
That's
So
awesome. I love it.
I did it last
So-
year. My show, the theme was back at the Copa. Okay.
Back at the Copa. Yeah.
Back at the Copa. This year, we're going to do Miss International World Presents the Copacabana. Actually, the theme was Return to the Copa. Okay.
Return is good. I love that.
Yeah, Return to the Copa. So it's an iconic name, another
Yeah.
name that needs to be brought back. Okay.
Absolutely.
And it's
Well,
not
same as the ship, the Margaritaville. That's brought back. That song is so famous now. The
exactly. Well,
Margaritaville song.
a lot of people don't realize is that They branded the name, but the ship is still actually owned by Bahama Paradise Cruise Line. They only branded the name Margaritaville. Okay.
It's a good idea because that
Yeah, it
song
was a
is
very, was a
global.
smart
That
move.
song is awesome song.
A smart move. So in Puerto Rico, if you've got the Copa Girls and they're doing a show, an opening show with Miss
Yes.
Universe,
Oh, I love it. I love
that'll
it.
be
Because we have to mix fun with business because you have to enjoy everything that you do in life. That's
right.
why we put Puerto Rico. I mean, the people are so happy. They
Oh,
love celebrations, but
no.
yet they're serious business people. So it's a great combination. Great combination.
Look
So we're
what,
gonna
look
have
what they
to tour
do.
the city.
Exactly. Look what they do during Christmas, right? They celebrate Christmas, but I think it's on January the 3rd. It's the Three Kings Day.
Yes, big,
Oh my
huge.
God, the celebration that they
Yeah.
do there is
Yeah.
unbelievable. All right. It's even bigger than the way we celebrate Christmas here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a,
And they do the
the
Three
whole
Kings Day.
family's involved.
Everybody's
Family's
involved.
involved.
Everybody.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah.
that was a smart choice, Puerto Rico. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you got, I believe it's Philadelphia coming up.
Yeah, we have Philadelphia coming up. It's a Women Business Expo and conferences. We already have over 1,000 registrations.
Excellent.
Beautiful, and
Well,
it's
that's
all
the city
business
of
women.
love, Philadelphia. And then
Yeah,
you've
the
got
people
Dallas,
are so nice.
Texas.
Texas,
And-
Dallas, we love Dallas. We had a great event in Dallas last year, and we're coming back. But that's a huge market, huge.
Oh, Texas
That
is a huge
Dallas,
market.
oh, everything in Texas is huge.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that event's going to be tremendous. And then we go to San Francisco, obviously.
That's where I'm going, San Francisco. I love it, the
Yeah.
Golden Gate Bridge. I love all
Yep.
of that over there
Yep.
in San Francisco. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it's in LA or San Francisco, but I think the Queen Mary is docked in San Francisco. Okay.
Wow.
Which is a floating hotel and restaurant. It's absolutely,
Oh,
I believe it's in
amazing.
San Francisco. But yeah, that's a great city. It's a magical city, San
It's a
Francisco.
magic. Yeah, I've been there a few times and I love it. I love San Francisco. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
only pick cities that are fantastic.
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah, exactly.
A lot.
One of these days we'll get to New York City when they lower the price of
Oh, geez, you park $100 a day to park. You already didn't mind.
New York City. Yeah, it's never changed. New York City.
Oh.
But you know what? They are starting to change because, and the reason being, they're not seeing as many conventions going into New York
No.
City as they
Too
used to.
expensive.
And, you know, they had 9/11 and that kind of hurt them. COVID did a number on New York City.
Yeah.
So that city, I mean, Christmas time, they still get a lot of traffic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. For Christmas, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
But for
unbelievable.
business, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
People are tired of the budgets today after COVID. People can't spend the money they used to spend on trips. It's no way. No way.
No way. So they actually are starting to do things differently and starting to add a lot of incentives because they need New York City was always known for conventions and they need that to come. They need that to come back. But you want to do something in New York? Yeah, it is very expensive. I tried to do a pageant there one time. Just to rent a ballroom was $20,000. I said, bye. I love it. I said,
No. And then they don't count all the money people spend eating there and staying there. So it's crazy. No. And the other thing is that we're already organizing for next year. So we're going to get together. So we do some more events together.
yes.
And we're planning our women annual convention next year in Mumbai, India.
Mumbai, India. Yes.
There's tremendous number of women in India that are successful and powerful. So it's a fantastic place for doing a women convention.
Well, look at 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐞𝐬. Look at how powerful 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐞𝐬 became in India. All right. Her and her husband are both a dentist. All right. But with the pageants now, she's not only doing my pageant, she has her own pageant. She sends girls to like 3 or 4 other pageants. She's done a web series. She's built a monopoly. They're asking her to speak at one convention after another. She is a prime example 𝐏𝐚𝐠𝐞𝐬 of a world leader. Okay.
Yes.
And I said to her, I said, 100 successful women, you must get involved with that event. I said, when they go to Mumbai, India, I said, you must get her. Yeah, she's definitely a world leader. And I'm glad that she works with me because we actually have the same vision. I would have to say she's one of my best directors that has a vision of trying to change the world for better and getting involved with world leaders. Okay. And the
Mhm.
women that she is coaching, I mean, she is sending me a girl from Canada that is not
In
only beautiful.
Canada, unbelievable.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
an Indian girl, but she lives in Canada. She's beautiful on the inside and the outside. And she's coaching her. Okay.
Wow.
So, which is amazing because now when she sends girls to the pageant, these girls have had so much training and they have to have a platform, something that's going on in the world. So look what she's doing. The International Glamour Project is actually becoming a world leader.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So the India is going to be phenomenal next year. And other activities, keep an eye out. Our best place to find everything is our website is www.100swb. That's www. We're going to put it on the screen later.
Yes,
The number 100swb.com.
right.
And you find everything out of our roadshow in the US, our global events, and ways to meet and connect with powerful, successful women worldwide, like Angela and
Yeah,
Maria.
exactly. And I love that saying from scratch to success, because as I told
Yes,
Angelica last week, I
yeah,
said, because you've got women that came from humble beginnings,
sure,
okay, and they became successful entrepreneurs, not only in business, but even community service.
absolutely. And that has to, in everything we do, that is a requirement. You cannot be part of our activities and be recognized if you're not doing some type of community service. That's absolutely not acceptable. Because
Yeah,
we're here to do something, to help, to serve, to leave a legacy. If you're not doing that, you need to go somewhere else. We're not going to work with you.
exactly. Yeah, you have to, you definitely have to leave a legacy. You know, I remember one thing that Russell Crowe said in Gladiator: what you do in life echoes in eternity.
Oh, beautiful. That's a
And that,
great, yep.
yeah. And you know, I read up on that. I thought that was scripted. They said no. When he got on that horse and he knew that the Romans were in that battle, and that's when he told his soldiers, what you do in life echoes in eternity. And I said, you know what? Those are the most eloquent words I have
Oh,
heard.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Or what Morgan Freeman always says: just because I disagree does not mean you're my enemy.
That's right. That's
Which
right.
means find that common ground, which we're not seeing in the world today.
No,
Find
we're
the
not.
common ground.
We're not.
Okay. If you disagree with somebody, doesn't mean you have to take a gun out of your pocket and shoot them.
It's crazy. It
It's
is
crazy.
absolutely. It's insane.
It's insane. We've got mass shootings every other day. It's ridiculous.
Never in history. Never.
Never, never in history. I mean, you
Never.
don't like what someone says, you got one or two things to do: disagree on a mature platform, or just walk away. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is
Just
not for
leave it.
me. Let it
That's right.
go. All right,
That's right.
walk away from it. But unfortunately, we live in a different world, and hopefully we go back to the old charm. So,
That we need to do.
yeah, we need to do, and I think the Global Trade Chamber and 100 Successful Women can do that. And like I said, I'm serious. You need to start a bank.
I love it.
Yeah, because you're honest, and look at all the people that you've got. Okay, sometimes when you go to a bank and you're just sitting with an advisor, they're not giving you the information you need. They're
They're
opening up
going
an
to
account.
sell you. They call themselves advisors, Angela, but they're really salesmen trying to get
That's
your money.
that's what banking turned into, and it was never that
Oh,
way years ago.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
But if
So,
somebody came to you and said, Al, I want to invest my money in the chamber, you've got all these people that are honest brokers that will advise,
oh, sure.
and you would make sure that everybody's money would be making money,
Exactly.
and they could trust you and trust the people that you're with. So yeah, that's a great concept. I could see it now. The
I love
Global
it.
Trade Chamber Bank.
And beauty pageant.
On the stock exchange and on Wall Street. And there
Oh,
you
I'm
go.
ready. I'm
You're
ready.
ready. But anyway, my dear, it has been a pleasure. It's Happy Friday. We want to let
Yes.
everybody know they can go out and celebrate. Okay. And this will not be the last time that you will be on the show, because we've got so many things coming up. We're going to have
Yes,
to
so many
update our
exciting.
viewers. And I know we'll have Maria on again. So I
Yes.
thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with me and be on Make Our World Your Runway. And let's keep it going.
Thank you. It's a pleasure always, Angela. You're making a big difference in the community and helping a lot of women, so appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
Great job.
Have a great one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, another fabulous show. And you've heard some great information from Al Otero, the president and founder of the Global Trade Chamber. And as always, stay tuned next week when we will have another fabulous guest. Remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and Success Stories. Until next time, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you next week.